So there are a lot of videos sharing all the reasons why you should start a YouTube channel in 2025. And they share stories of brand new channels blowing up overnight, getting hundreds of thousands of views. And while there's nothing wrong with talking about that, something that's less sexy to talk about are the failures. The creators who have been on YouTube for 17 years posted over 700 videos with only 1,000 subscribers. Look, I'm someone who's talked a lot about YouTube, and I'm guilty of sharing stories of crazy channels that have just blown up out of nowhere seemingly. And I do that because I think we learn the most from successes. But regardless, I think I am contributing to unrealistic expectations for small creators. And so my goal for this video is to share the other side of the coin. Not to demotivate you, but to share the realities of this situation. So if by the end of this video, being a YouTuber is still something you want to do, at the very least, you're not going to be surprised when these realities rear their ugly heads. And this is the first thing I want to talk about. Most games in life, and YouTube is a game, have a power law operating within them. And YouTube is no different. In fact, I would say it's an even more extreme power law. We're talking the top 5% of creators get 95% of the views, subscribers, and money, which leads to a sort of self-fulfilling prophecy because most of the algorithm just wants to give viewers the content they're going to enjoy the most. And usually viewers enjoy the best content. And because of their abundance of time and resources, the biggest creators are the ones able to create the best content, which leads to more views and subscribers, which leads to more resources, which leads to better content and more views and subscribers, and you get the idea. And so long story short, the majority of small channels fail, and I say that not as an opinion, but it's a fact. The majority of small channels fail, and one of the main reasons for this is this crazy amount of competition, how hard it is for them to get their foot in the door initially. Now, there is a way around this situation. I like the way Tim Ferriss puts it. He says, in order to be successful at a new thing, you want to be the first, the best, or the most. So for example, Ryan Trahan, first person to do something like the Penny series. He was the first, it was a great idea, it went viral. If you were to try and do a Penny series right now, you are no longer the first. You're not going to get the kind of results Ryan did. Or Mr. Beast, the first person to give away the amounts of money that he gives away or destroy the amount of Lamborghinis that he seems to destroy. Like, love the guy or hate him, you can't deny that he's been the first person to set the bar that high. Now we can look at the next category, the best. You might think of creators like Dream, who for a while was seen by the masses as one of the best Minecraft players. Or someone like Marques Brownlee, often seen as the best tech reviewer. Now, there can be overlap between these categories. You can be both the first and the best, and that's often where a lot of magic happens. But at the very least, you need to be one of these things. And that, I guess, brings us to the last one, which is the most. And a lot of kids or corporate channels are really good at this. They'll churn out multiple videos a day sometimes and just overwhelm the space with a huge volume of content. Now, competing in these categories might seem demoralizing. And look, it does not make things easy, but what you can do is find spaces on YouTube, I would call them niches, where you can be the first, the best, or the most. Now, being the most as a new creator can be pretty hard, especially if you've got like college or a job. So we can maybe put that one aside for now, but you can be the first or the best. By first, you can come up with a new concept, or more usually, you can take two concepts and put them together to make something that appears brand new and start getting attention that way. Or you can be the best in your specific category of whatever it is you're doing. And by the way, the best doesn't mean you have to have the highest production value or things like that. It just means that your videos need to satisfy your viewers more than the majority of your competitors. So like creators like Dry Creek Wrangler or Hamza or The Wizard Liz or Sam Sulek, they don't have the highest production by any stretch. Many would even say that their content is low production value, but their content is better at satisfying their niche of people than say Mr. Beast or Ryan Trahan or any of these big creators. And so if you are going to get into YouTube, you need to find yourself a niche, and especially in the beginning, play to your competitors' weaknesses. See, something you have at your advantage as a small creator is you can be more authentic than these big guys. Mr. Beast might have the team and the production and the money, but at the end of the day, a person just being vulnerable to an iPhone, they are higher on the authenticity spectrum than a creator like Mr. Beast. Or these big creators, maybe they can't move as fast as you. Maybe you can put out content on newer trending topics quicker than them. But if you can't do something like this, YouTube's probably going to be pretty hard for you. Which kind of leads to the next thing I want to talk to you about, which is you probably know YouTube's hard, but I'd be willing to bet YouTube is a lot harder than you think. And I think we're influenced by what's called survivorship bias. See, we see all these stories of these small creators getting crazy results, or even just big creators getting tens of thousands of views. And your brain kind of gets impacted by that. Your expectations are sort of set up there. What you don't see are the tens upon tens of thousands of small creators who set out with a dream, just like all these big creators, and failed. Kind of like the guy I talked about earlier, 17 years on YouTube, posted nearly 800 videos, doesn't even have 2,000 subs yet. Now, I do think that's also a big outlier case as well. But long story short, the data says that success takes time, probably more time than you think. In fact, I have a YouTube tool, basically, it's called Velio. We like help people find viral video ideas, and I share that not to try and sell you something, but because we have downloaded a lot of data from a lot of videos, like hundreds of millions of videos. And because I have access to that data, I can run experiments and like tests and studies on it. And something I decided to do was figure out how long it takes on average for someone to reach their first 1,000 subscribers. So I took all of the channels in our database that had between 1,000 and 1,100 subscribers, and I had a look at how many long form videos those channels had posted. And what I found was the average channel had posted an average of 77 long form videos. Now 77 videos, if you think about it, if you're posting one video a week, which is pretty frequent for the average YouTuber, that means you're looking at least a year and a bit before hitting 1,000 subscribers on average. And that doesn't even take into account all of the channels who have posted 77 videos but didn't reach 1,000 subscribers, because I'm sure there were plenty of them. Now, does this mean that you can't beat the odds, that you can't get results faster than this? No, there are tons of examples of people getting results far quicker than this. But I think it's also unwise, especially if you are a complete beginner who's never done this before, to think that you're going to substantially beat the odds. Because unless you're doing something drastically different from everyone else, you're kind of setting yourself up for disappointment. So now you might be thinking,
Max, but why does it take so long?
well, I think one of the reasons, beyond sometimes it takes the algorithm some time to nail down who your audience is the amount of skills you have to learn, which is kind of the next sort of con I want to mention about YouTube is you have to be ready to learn a lot of new skills. Being a YouTuber isn't like a specific thing. It's not like going out there and being a copywriter or going out there and being a salesperson. Because in most instances, when you start something new, you have to learn like 1, 2, or maybe 3 core skills for you to get good at that thing. On YouTube, you have to learn how to edit videos. You have to learn how to record videos. You have to be a copywriter. You need to know how to write engaging scripts and titles. You need to design your thumbnails. You need to learn how to be a great researcher and ideator to come up with video ideas that are actually going to have viral potential. You need to develop the skill of speaking to a microphone or on camera. Like there are so many different core skills. And even though if you're someone who loves learning, that can be exciting, it still takes time, especially when you have the issue of competition, which you talked about earlier, and you're competing against people who have dedicated employees and have been in operation for many years. And even after all of that, if you find a good niche, you spend the time, you learn the skills, this is going to be very controversial, but I think luck is involved in YouTube success. I think someone who says on a practical day-to-day level that YouTube success doesn't require any ounce of luck, I think they're a little bit overconfident. Look, if it was literally not luck, if it was like a math equation where you could like input this variable, and bam, you get X result. The big creators who've been studying this for tens of years would be consistently getting the maximum amount of results every video they post. Like even creators like Mr. Beast who go out there and say like,
it's all knowledge. It really is.
He still has videos that don't do well, even though he has all of the skill. And so am I saying YouTube success is just luck? No, not at all. But my mentor, Pete Davison, sort of put it like this. Now, Pete, for context, is an angel investor. He used to go out there and find specific companies to invest his money in hopes those companies grow big and make him his money back. And Pete shared something with me. See, the most successful angel investors need to learn how to manage luck. Or in investing terms, they need to diversify. See, a lot of successful investors only expect 2 to 5% of their investments to actually work. But when those 2 to 5% of investments work, they really blow up and they make up for all of their other failed investments. And I think YouTube can be similar. There could be 2 channels posting almost the exact same type of content. They post 10 videos, one of them blows up and the other one doesn't blow up yet. For whatever reason, the algorithm had an easier time finding the right audience for channel A instead of channel B. And this is really frustrating and disheartening for a lot of people. And so if you want to do YouTube, you need to be able to embrace this. You can't control all of the variables, but if you're able to stay disciplined, prepared, and consistent, when that opportunity, the luck comes along, you'll be ready to make the most of it. And so let's imagine that you do this. So far, we've been talking about like brand new YouTubers, but let's say you beat the odds, you blow up your channel. It's still not smooth sailing. Firstly, YouTube is usually not very passive. If you are a person on camera, so like I am in this video, you have to physically be there with your camera to record new videos. And new videos are the lifeblood of your channel. You don't create videos for a long time, your channel starts dying. But even if you're a faceless channel and your plan is to employ a bunch of people to run the channel for you, it's still rarely passive, at least over the long haul, because YouTube is constantly changing. There'll be new competitors coming into your niche. Your audience's desires will change. You'll have to innovate and stay fresh. And sometimes entire niches can die through no fault of your own, leading your channel to die with them. I see this all the time, unfortunately, with gaming channels. They might get into like a niche game, they grow a following around it, and then the game dies. And it doesn't matter how good their content is, players aren't interested in the game anymore. And because players aren't interested, there's no viewers. And so my personal view for most people, even the automation folks out there, if you're getting into this because you want to set up some sort of like easy, quick money, passive income business model, I don't know if this is the best path for you. And so look, these are some things on the other side of the coin, some things that aren't sexy to talk about, but they're realities about the difficulties of being a YouTuber. Now, some of these things, for a lot of you guys, you might be like, you know, this sounds like too much work. It's not worth it. And if that's you, don't waste your time. Your time is one of the most valuable resources you have. But what I will say is just because something's hard doesn't mean it's not possible. In fact, I think something being hard is often an indicator that it's worthwhile doing. Like going to the gym, getting in shape. Not easy, but a hell of a lot more worthwhile and fulfilling than sitting on the couch eating potato chips. Or like starting a business, or like learning a difficult new skill. Anything worth doing comes with significant challenges. And so while I think it's naive to say that YouTube is meant for everyone, I think for those of you who really want this, hopefully having an awareness of the difficulties you might encounter on YouTube and embracing them will make them easier to overcome when you inevitably end up encountering them. So apologies for the negative video, but hopefully this helps someone out there. And if you are still interested in wanting to be a YouTuber, that's kind of what this channel is about. So I'll leave a video on screen where I talk more in depth about the specific steps or things I would do to start a brand new YouTube channel. In my experience, achieve success a lot faster than the average person. So that video will be on screen. Check it out.